Hi there, a very good morning and good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you're watching me. This is Simply Stocks, and I'm live in this session with you all. And today, in this live session, I'm going to talk about a mid-cap company that has been producing strong numbers, but that mid-cap tech company has fallen just because of a lot of, you can say, decline in the NASDAQ and the way stocks have fallen in the US with no relation to the numbers or the kind of business that they are into. So we'll discuss about that. I'll answer your queries and we'll discuss a little bit about the markets as well, which has been yo-yoing, and I have talked about it in detail as to why I believe that the market could be range bound between 18,200 to 17,200 levels. So we'll discuss all those points. I hope more people join in. I know I've not given a prior, you can say, notice as to when I'll be online, because even I did not know as to when I'll be online for the you can say for this session. It will be a short session of around 20 minutes or so. And the reason for that is sports. So I'm following cricket, and you would be doing the same at the moment. And the way India has played today is absolutely magnificent. Really happy to see India commanding the test match again. But it's going to be a struggle. It's not going to be easy to chase down 114. So looking forward to that. So just in the midst of that lunch break, I have come online and we'll discuss about this company as well. So before I get this session in earnest, a small there's a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation, and people taking any position of any share that I talk about should do that with their own due diligence and research. And I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. So that's the disclaimer part. And also, do support me on Patreon. There have been now a number of members coming in on YouTube. Once I have at least 15-20 members on YouTube or more than that, a sufficient amount of members on YouTube, then I'll definitely begin with YouTube, you can say, members only live session, probably on Friday evenings. We'll do that, but let more people join in as members there. Do join in there. For a while, for 2 3 months, I have not been posting much there, but now I have been regular in posting on YouTube as well, along with the WhatsApp and Patreon. So you can become member on either of the platforms. If you're not able to pay on Patreon, do email me to get WhatsApp membership on a yearly basis. Otherwise, you can just click on the join button and become a member on YouTube as well. So I've given just about half an hour back. I have given short-term calls for this week, and there have been 3 4 stocks that have been looking very attractive with the move that is taking place, along with the kind of results that they have produced. So looking very good on a short-term basis. A call since January has gone out well, apart from say 20 25% of the calls not working. Others have worked so far. Some have hit their target. So alhamdulillah, doing well on that front, and hopefully will continue to provide that at least 3 4 calls every week. So if you really want to join in, you have not joined, do join in there as well. All right, so let's begin the session altogether. The stock I want to talk to you about is InfoEdge or Naukri. I feel at 3,500, after the decline of 50% over the last 15 16 months, it is looking extremely attractive. And in my opinion, one can start accumulating here, and I'll give you the reasons once we go to the screener website in a while. So let me take you to the screener websites, and we'll discuss about InfoEdge in details, and then about the markets, and then I'll answer your queries as well. So let's go to the screener for a while. So here we are on screener with InfoEdge, and there's no promotion in here of the website or etc. But I like the way everything is structured here. A company that deals majorly in, although it is a premier online classified company with a portfolio of a number of stocks, brands into different, you can say, industry. Basically, they own different brands, they own different entities like Naukri, etc., 99 acres, and many others. And even Zomato, they have still a 12-13% stake. Uh, and that's how they end up making money, because eventually what they do is they own their businesses, and the market cap of those businesses help them grow as well. So at the moment, the market cap for InfoEdge is around 45,000 crores. Stock price is 3,500, although it shows 52-week high of around 5,000. But in the last 18 months, it touched 7,000 as well. We'll discuss about that. Book value of 1,100 is there. It's trading at 20 times price to sales. We'll discuss about valuation in a bit. ROE of 22% has dipped. Normally, it used to be closer to 30%, and that's why the stock has dipped sharply. And industry PE for for this kind of industry stock is around 57, as we see here. So as far as the stock is concerned, so this is where I believe that now the stock does look pretty interesting. And there are a couple of factors, two, three factors for the same. But let's just look at the stock. So stock was around say 2000 in March of 2020. From there it surged to 5000 and then consolidated there, and eventually by October it went up to 7000 levels, and from 7000 it has declined 50%. So if I go back in October of 2020, it was around 3500, and today it is around 3500. So in the last you can say 2.5 years, the stock has done virtually nothing actually. So somebody who has bought the stock in October 2020 would have been at the same level as today. This is one of the reasons as to why I believe that after 2.5 years of hiatus, any top quality company should come back into focus. That's one thing. The law of averages say that, and currently the stock is trading around 3500 levels. Second thing is that margin of safety is big. If you look at the charts here, then around these 3500 levels, there are multiple supports at 3450, then even lower down at 3300, 33, 32, 3300 or so. And from 3300, the fall may trigger big time to 3000. So I think once you buy around 3500, your stop loss is just about 6% away to around 3300 levels. And from those levels, I think one can definitely keep a stop loss around 3300, and once the upside begins, it could be big in the stock. Even if it goes back to new highs in the next couple of years, then it can double from here. Now looking at the numbers, let's go to the numbers part. I believe 590 crores of sales, that is what has come in, and this is where the stock looks good because the numbers are picking up. Yes, quarter on quarter, there is a dip on the sales front, but 590 crores of sales versus 420 crores of sales, a good 40% jump in sales. And you look at the profitability from 117 crores with a margin of 28%. This time around, operating profit came out to be 155 crores with an operating profit margin of 26%, which means that profit margins, yes, year on year has dipped a bit, but you look at quarter on quarter, over the last 4 quarters, the margins have been around 15%, 5%, 8%, and now it's coming back to 26%. The only reason why the profitability on the bottom line dipped is because of the other income, which showed losses because of their impairment of some businesses here and there. Eventually, they had another income or loss of 34 crores, you can say negative other income of 34 crores versus another income, you can say, of 4,800 crores that was there, and inherent you can say other income out there. So that's why this is such a gulf in terms of profitability. Suppose this other income was not quite 100 200 crores, but even 34 crores positive, even that bottom line would have shown something like 133 crores or so, which would have been somewhat similar to what they did in September. So overall, and then there was a this tax thing. 53% tax is what InfoEdge paid this time around versus 6% last year versus 37% last quarter, 14% in June. So basically, for most retail investors, the confusion is how to rate these numbers. So what you need to do is do not look beyond this figure of operating profit in such companies where you have different tax figures, where you have different other income figures. Totally, you can say haywire other income figures of 206 crores, then 33 crores, 400 crores, 700 crores, 400 crores, 200 crores, 8,000 crores, 4,800 crores, 700 crores. So it's not even. You cannot project numbers on this basis. What you need to look at, what are the main numbers to look at, are these. So basically you need to look at basically sales is one, operating profit is the other, and margins on the other side. So margins in their best of days were around 30-35%. It's coming back to 26%. It's coming back there. Operating profits have grown over year on year, over quarter on quarter, many folds, and the stock is down 50%. That is a real recipe for the stock to perform and not go down a lot, although there is selling still taking place. We'll discuss about the reasons for the selling, but basically what is happening, let me have a look if there are any queries per se coming. But basically what has been happening is that we are in a situation where the stock has fallen. So there are 2 3 reasons for that. We'll discuss about the stock fall a bit, but the numbers are pretty robust. And if you look at on the balance sheet front as well, it's pretty robust. 14,000 crores of you can say reserves are with the company, with only 136 crores of borrowing, which has gone up, but is still very little. So it can be called as a debt free company. If you look at the shareholding pattern, there lies the fact that you can say retail shareholding has increased from March of 21, which was around, so December 20, which was around 9.5% to 12.7% now. What has gone down is FII holding, which was pretty big in December of 20 at 40.5%, has gone to 32%. So since we are seeing, so there are 2 3 reasons as I mentioned for the fall. The number one reason for the fall in here in the stock is heavy FII selling that is taking place across the board in the market. That is the first reason, as we call it, at the moment, that we are in a situation where FIIs have sold big time in the market, and they are selling into those companies where they are invested big time. So something like an Info Edge and even large, you can say consumer stocks they are selling into. Second thing why the selling is taking place is because of what is happening is the NASDAQ. So companies which are, you can say, either related to unicorns, either directly related to venture capital funding, etc., which InfoEdge is, or are somewhat related to venture capital funding, which is InfoEdge. A direct relation is something like a Nika or a Zomato, etc. These companies will perform on numbers as well as on the fact that that Nasdaq should perform, that US stocks should perform. Companies like the FANG stocks should perform, which have started performing. So that also gives me confidence that over the next 6 to 8 months, something like an Info Edge, Nika, Zomato, etc., they will end up performing from these levels. uh, Even with, you can say, moderate numbers are not bad, not very bad, then these stocks should start performing. So the second reason for the fall that I feel is the fall in Nasdaq at the moment. And the third prime reason for why the stock has gone down so much is that there's under ownership with the retail shareholders. There's over ownership with the FII. So when selling takes place big time in this, and there is no buy order or not much of a buy order in something like an Info Edge. On low volumes, these selling is taking place once, and there will be time over the next 6 8 months when FIIs will buy India probably at 17,500 200, especially into these new age tech stocks, especially into this kind of a tech stock which is related to something like venture capital funding. This will come back over the next 6 months. Once interest rate peak out, etc., this will happen, that buying will take place. And that is my fourth reason. The fourth reason for the fall that is taking place is the high interest rate cost that now these companies which are now getting funding from venture capitals are having. So it's extremely difficult to get funding from venture capitals, from venture capitals, and that is why you have a situation where companies of this sort would struggle, and that is why these are struggling and nobody is looking at these stocks. So I believe that this is the time to accumulate. I'm not saying from a 6 months point of view or a 3 month point of view or from a trade point of view, but what I feel is that over the next you can say 2 years, the stock could double, absolutely double from here, could go back to their highs, because once you can say FII buying picks up in these stocks, it could just these could really zoom pretty fast. So I believe info edge around these levels till 3300 can be bought. Your deeper stop loss would be 3000, and one can accumulate info edge in this region. All right, so a little bit of discussion about the market. So, as I see it, the markets have remained range bound over this period, and things have not been in that way that you have a situation where the market has zoomed. It went to 18,000 levels and have come back from those 18,000 levels or so. I feel that going forward, the markets could remain range bound between 18,200 to 17,200. In the next couple of weeks, I have a feeling that there could be a little bit of dip because of the higher, you can say, CPI data that has come in US. There could be more volatility coming up in the next 2 weeks for the market. I won't be surprised that Nifty may correct and mid and small cap selectively could perform. There are stocks that are looking on the charts that are looking pretty good, that are looking pretty strong. So I believe going forward, one should see better moves in those mid and small caps. I have discussed that, and we have discussed that with our you can say members on WhatsApp, on Patreon, on YouTube, as to which stocks to get into, and they are performing well, alhamdulillah. So I have a feeling that going forward, if you really want to get into these stocks, become a member and probably you'll get choices. But there are pockets in the mid cap arena in different sectors where performance is taking place, where numbers are good, and where stocks are moving ahead. Alright guys, so I'm ready to answer your queries. Kindly use the super chat and super sticker feature that will help me grow the channel. That will help you also ask me questions and eke out answers in greater detail. For the next 8-10 minutes, I'll be answering your queries. So do let me know what are your queries at the moment. Okay. Your recommendations are always on high PE stocks, and high PE stocks will correct going forward with interest rate hike. See, so that's what I'm saying, Meghanathan. The thing is, the interest rate cycle may just peak out over the next 2 quarters or so. I'm not saying that it's going to perform immediately in Edge, but I don't see much downside. So I believe the worst is over for those stocks which were with high PE and which were correcting. I won't say they'll perform immediately, but over the next 6 months, one can definitely accumulate. See, retail investors cannot just go ahead and time the market to the last rupee on the stock. So it's better to probably start accumulating. If you have, say, 60,000 rupees with you over the next 6 months, put in 10,000 rupees each on info edge, buy 2 3 shares each month, and then you'll see how the performance will pick up in the second half of 23 and then all throughout 24. I believe in the next 2 quarters, something like info edge could end up bottoming for the good and performing extremely well. And we have seen that once reversal happens, then how quickly that happens. So that is why my call is here. I won't say CDSL is a buy here. CDSL has performed exceedingly well. We have seen when larger number of, say, you can say, uh, demat accounts were opening. At this point of time, it will just continue to be range bound. So I would say just avoid at the moment. Asian Paints versus Pidilite, which is better to enter now, plan to invest, please suggest. So if you have 2 lakh, I would say you divide into 4 stocks: Asian Paints, Pidilite, Titan, and Info Edge over the next 6 months, 50,000 each, as I mentioned, into these 4 stocks, and then probably hold 2 3 years. That will give you a very decent returns. I think Info Edge around these and on dips to 3,000 looks good. So Newgen, you're asking about the last city, last cry. Sorry. So I feel, and this is a stock I hold. So I feel that it is headed towards 500 in the short term, and we'll see how the numbers pan out. I'm very bullish on midcap IT. I believe again the worst is over for the midcap IT space as well. So whatever that was not performing for the last 18 months may have just bottomed out, and we should look at better companies in there who are producing decent numbers, who have lesser exposure to Europe or US, but still have exposure there and have corrected big time. So Newgen is set to perform pretty well over the next 6 8 months. Bhupender, DMart, I feel DMart is a decent buy here, but it's a long-term story, not something to be looked at from a 6 months point of view, because the numbers were not great. So another bad quarter could take the stock to 3,000. So if you're buying for short term, then avoid long term. Yes, one can start accumulating between these levels till 3,200, 3,300 levels. That's the call. Uh, Pawan, Tata Elxsi around these levels, you can start buying and buy more if you get a chance at 62, 6,300. I think 6,000 should hold here, 5,700 should hold. So one can accumulate between 6,000 to 6,600 to buy into something like uh, Tata Elxsi. So Varun Beverages, another stock that I hold, so that's a disclaimer. On dips to 1220, 1230, it's a buy. I think with this summer season, I think over the next 2 years, Varun could end up performing well on the business front and come out with 40 to 42 rupees of EPS. Based on that, the stock looks extremely attractive. On dips to 1220, can be added on to for sure in this condition. Alright guys, thank you. Thanks a lot for being online. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so you can get my videos straight away when I post it, and kindly support me on Patreon. Thank you.